the WTA youngster, who has become the most underrated player on the tour. Mira Andreeva, Victoria Mboko, and Alexandra Ila currently represent some of the best young talents on the WTA tour. Andreeva and Mboko have already secured WTA 1000 titles, while Ila has climbed into the world's top 30 players following impressive wins against Jasmine Paolini and Coco Gauff. Eva Liss and Iva Jovic are also impressive talents, as is Talia Gibson, who could become the next Australian star on the WTA Tour. One player who often gets left out of these conversations is Linda Noskova. Despite her standing as a top 15 player on the WTA Tour, Linda Noskova is the most underrated player on the WTA Tour. Despite being only 21 years old, Linda Noskova has already proven herself to be a premier talent on the WTA Tour. The former French Open Junior champion already has one WTA Tour title to her name, 2024 Monterrey Open, and reached her first WTA 1000 final at the 2025 China Open, before losing to Amanda Anisimova. The Czech star also has a winning record against many of her young peers, including against Alex Ila, Eva Liss, and Maya Joint. The 21-year-old is a supreme talent who has proven time and again over the past 2 years that she is capable of making deep runs at big events. She demonstrated this in 2024 when she reached the Australian Open quarterfinals before losing to qualifier Diana Yastremska. Most recently, Noskova demonstrated her talent by reaching the Indian Wells semi-finals. The Czech star defeated Alex Ila and Talia Gibson on her way to the last four, before losing to world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. This week, Noskova lost her opening Miami Open singles match to Sorana Cîrstea 2-6, 6-3, 4-6. After losing in Miami, Noskova has chosen to take a few weeks off before returning to competitive play at the Stuttgart Open. During the same week last year, Noskova took part in the Rouen Open in France. After defeating Bernarda Pera, second-seeded Noskova was defeated by Suzanne Lehmanns in the round of 16. As a result, Noskova will defend 30 WTA points when she takes part in the Stuttgart Open this year. Yelena Ostapenko is the defending Stuttgart champion, and she has returned for the 2026 event. Mira Andreeva, Leylah Fernandez, Coco Gauff, Barbara Krejcikova, and Karolina Muchova are all set to join Ostapenko on the German clay courts. In a sport that thrives on spotlight, noise, and narrative, it's easy to overlook the ones who don't demand attention, but earn it anyway. The Women's Tennis Association, WTA, tour has always been rich with prodigies, headline makers, and larger-than-life personalities. Yet, somewhere between the roaring crowds and viral highlight reels, a different kind of player is quietly crafting her legacy, the underrated youngster. She isn't the face plastered across billboards. Her matches rarely lead the evening news. She doesn't arrive with a storm of endorsements or a trail of hype from junior dominance. And yet, week after week, she wins. Her game doesn't scream, it whispers with precision. While others rely on explosive power, she builds points like a chess master, anticipating, adjusting, and outthinking opponents. Her footwork is efficient, her shot selection deliberate, and her mental composure, perhaps her greatest weapon, rare for someone so young. What makes her underrated isn't a lack of talent. It's a lack of noise. In an era where social media presence can rival on-court success, she exists in the margins. She doesn't chase viral moments or dramatic celebrations. Instead, she resets after every point, eyes focused, emotions contained. To the casual fan, she may appear unremarkable. To the trained eye, she's extraordinary. Her journey hasn't been paved with immediate success. Unlike some peers who burst onto the scene with teenage Grand Slam runs, she took the long road. Early exits, tough draws, matches where she led but couldn't close. Each loss, however, became a layer in her foundation rather than a crack in her confidence. There's a resilience in her story that statistics can't fully capture. Coaches speak of her work ethic in quiet admiration. The extra hours on practice courts, the willingness to refine even her strongest shots, the discipline to stick to a long-term plan in a sport that often rewards quick results. She doesn't chase perfection, she chases progress. And it shows. Her ranking has climbed steadily, almost unnoticed. a quarterfinal here, a semi-final there, a win over a top 10 player that briefly turns heads before the spotlight shifts elsewhere. But within locker rooms, her name carries weight. Opponents know she's dangerous. There's something uniquely unsettling about playing someone with nothing to prove and everything to gain. Her playing style reflects her personality, composed, intelligent, and quietly relentless. She absorbs pace with ease, redirects angles with subtlety, and forces errors not through intimidation, but through patience. Long rallies are her comfort zone, not her weakness. Where others rush, she waits. Where others panic, she calculates. And then, almost imperceptibly, she takes control. What sets her apart isn't just her ability, it's her awareness. She understands her game deeply. She knows when to defend, when to attack, and when to simply stay in the point a little longer. It's a maturity that belies her age, and it's one of the reasons seasoned players often find themselves frustrated against her. But perhaps the most compelling part of her story is what she represents. In a culture obsessed with instant success, she is a reminder that growth can be gradual. That greatness doesn't always arrive with fanfare. That sometimes the most dangerous players are the ones you don't see coming. Her rise challenges the narrative of what a star should look like. She doesn't fit neatly into marketing campaigns or media storylines. But she embodies something more enduring: consistency, discipline, and quiet confidence. And as the tour evolves, with new champions emerging and rivalries shifting, players like her become increasingly important. They are the stabilizers, the disruptors, the ones who keep the field honest. The irony of being underrated is that it rarely lasts forever. There will come a moment, perhaps at a Grand Slam, perhaps during a deep run at a major tournament, when the spotlight finds her. When commentators start calling her a dark horse no more, but a genuine contender. When fans begin to recognize the patterns, the precision, the poise. And when that moment arrives, it will feel sudden to many. But it won't be sudden at all. It will be the result of years spent just outside the glare. Of matches played on smaller courts. Of victories earned without applause. Of belief maintained when recognition was absent. Until then, she remains the WTA's best-kept secret.